Stocks hold up after a gap up opening today, and realty as well as utilities along with energy space lead the gains while consumer durables drag today.
State Bank of India reports strong loan growth and a sharp improvement in asset quality, but Bank of Baroda posts a sharp decline in margin and a jump in slippages. It also cuts its guidance. The stock slips in trade.
Indigo posts strong growth in the business as well as earnings, getting a thumbs up from the analysts. An expected 25% increase in the capacity in the festive third quarter also spells good tidings ahead.
Zomato gets a thumbs up from analysts on a good show and strong guidance. Policy Bazaar owner PB Fintech stays on track to break even this fiscal, and delivery season uptick in October after a soft Q2, suggesting better days ahead. This stock sees some green.
Strong guidance and two acquisitions buoyed JSW Infrastructure. Aarti Industries jumps on a QOQ recovery. JK Cement gains on strong volume growth, while improved margins boosts IKO Lighting. But a sharp dip in sales and profits hurts Gujarat Fluorochemicals today. Hello and welcome. You've tuned into Business Lunch. I'm Nisha Poddar, and as always, my co-anchor Pavitra Parekh is right here with me. So Pavitra, it's a good week. Beginning has been
festive
good for
cheer, right?
Festive cheer in the market, and also I would say some cheer is coming in from Men in Blue and the way they are performing. So yes, so good day for the market. Let's take a look at where Nifty 50 is and how the market is performing right now. Not much movement. It has been a stable recovery, as you can see coming in the market, a stable set of gains for the day. 0.6% up, 19,350 levels for Nifty 50. Sensex 2 gains close to 400 points. Bank Nifty is showing slight underperformance to the key indices, but nothing to worry about. 0.4% up in trade. And mid caps, that's where a slight bit of outperformance is there. In fact, they take the drudging on weekdays, and on good days they gain much better. So 0.87% higher. An advanced decline ratio is reflective of the broader market participation and the strength and positivity that we are seeing here. On my screens at the moment, Eicher Motors, Hero MotoCorp, so some of the auto counters in terms of percentage are doing well, and Axis Bank, L&T, Grasim are some of the other gainers in terms of the contribution chart, but that is percentage gain that we are saying. Only a handful of stocks really in the red when we talk about Nifty 50 today. So great beginning to the week as we get into festival season.
Oh, absolutely. And it's a broad-based rally, like you mentioned. It's, it's seen across pockets. It's seen across global markets as well. Whichever Asian market you pick up is doing very well. Of course, we got that positive handover from the US. The mid and small caps are at the high point of the day. Small caps now 1.2% in the green. They've recovered pretty much all of the cut that we saw, towards the last week of October. So that's encouraging. Lot of earnings reactions coming through. So names like Aarti, JK Cement, all of these seeing big moves. The entire new age stocks basket is really up and about in trade. Zomato is up around 3%. You have Nykaa, which is up 4.5%. PB Fintech, which is doing very well. So this is, a pocket which is really buzzing today. On the downside, you have some earnings reactions coming through. So like we were mentioning, Bank of Baroda, SBI, a little bit under pressure. You have something like a Gati, which is seeing cuts as well. But that's about it. There's not too much that you're seeing in terms of a cut coming through for the market. So since it's that time of the year again, we've been talking about the festive cheer. Let's bring you a very interesting conversation. Now we are doing our best to try and help you enjoy a prosperous and profitable summer 2080. And for that, we held an investing masterclass with 3 market veterans. So we had S. Narain of ICICI Prudential AMC, Nilesh Shah of Kotak AMC, as well as Mihir Vora of Trust Mutual Fund to discuss their investing mantra for the coming year. Listen in to that excerpt.
Deepavali is the festival of lights which dispel darkness. In India also there is darkness on financial awareness. In mutual funds, a lot of investors have made money over 15, 20, 30 years. But total number of investors which we have is 4 crore. On the other hand, in cryptos, most of the investors would have lost money. And 18 crore investors went and dabbled over there. Now, why are people going into where there is guarantee to lose money and not coming in sufficiently where there is opportunity to make money? Is it intelligence? Answer is no. India's most literate state spends more money on lottery than what they have accumulated in equity mutual funds over the last 3 decades. In lottery, you are bound to lose money collectively. Otherwise, lottery guy will never run the business. And yet, annual spending on lottery is more than the cumulative AUM in equity.
So there's a long way to go.
We have to create financial awareness so that people invest nicely, wisely, and they get financial security. 18 crore Indians have lost money in cryptos. 10 crore Indians would have lost money in gaming. 2 crore plus Indians have lost money in Ponzi schemes from PSCL to City Limousine. And there are so many people who lose their future in F&O trading, from cash, equity to commodities to everything. So as long as you are experimenting, please, go ahead and do it. But for ordinary investors, they have to remember that trading is injurious to your financial health.
Naren, let's get to your lecture. You are going to teach us a bit more about asset allocation today, right?
Yes.
Okay. So tell us, how should we look at asset allocation? Why is it important? And how should we go about, asset allocation as we get into this new year?
See, 2007, 8, 9 was a red letter period, where, as Nilesh pointed out, the number of investors in India and mutual fund is still very small. So we felt that, this mutual fund industry saw itself as an equity mutual fund industry. And we said that we have to move out of that and move into a situation where we created categories like balanced advantage and multi-asset. Because if the mutual fund industry was not a equity mutual fund industry, actually gold gave very big returns in 2008. And consequently, this whole thing, we started popularizing categories like balanced advantage, and later when scheme categorization came, categories like multi-asset. Because once we did that, we got the real benefit actually in COVID. Because in COVID, actually, equity did badly immediately, but asset classes like gold did well. And we have had a situation where this whole concept of asset allocation, where you invest in equity, debt, and gold, actually leads you to a very good experience compared to just investing in equity. And the problem that Nilesh pointed out, that investors are much more invested in other things and not in mutual fund, can be corrected only in that way. Because the day you make it an equity mutual fund industry, you cannot make the industry as large. Look at the scale of all the other industries, they've been much bigger. So that's what we felt, and the experience of 2018 to 22, as the data would show, there are years in which equity has done well, there are years in which gold has done well, and then the investor experience is much better, and then you can scale up the industry. And today, all of us in the industry have launched multi-asset funds, primarily because we have realized that that is one way of increasing the number of investors in the industry and ensuring that the investor experience can also be much better over the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years.
Amir, you were going to tell us about this beast called valuation, how to look at it, how to befriend it. At times we want to forget about it when the market is running away. So I think it's a question that a lot of us grapple with. This has been the year of power stocks and capital goods stocks. I mean, these stocks never worked for decades. Absolutely. And now here we are.
So, philosophically, when you're talking about investing in stocks especially, it's a function of various parameters, and stocks and companies are impacted by so many variables. So as an investor, the only thing that is in our control is the price at which you enter or exit the stock. And that's where valuation comes into the picture, right? Because if you think the actual value of the stock should be much higher than what the current market price is, then you buy, and vice versa. If you think the actual value is, should be below the current market price, you are a seller in the stock. So valuation, when you go about valuing a company, basically, at the crux of it, you're trying to say this is the current book value of the company, and the company is likely to generate cash flows in the future. So let me calculate the value of those future cash flows.
All right, some important nuggets on investments that's coming in from the market experts. With that, we'll slip into a short breather on Business Lunch. But when we return, Bharat Forge and Interglobe Aviation are the stocks in focus this afternoon. We get you more details on the other side. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're still tuned into Business Lunch. Let's talk about some earnings which have been coming through. We just got Bharat Forge's second quarter numbers a while ago, and that stock has really reacted positively. So Sonia is here to fill us in with the highlights. Sonia.
Well, thanks a lot for that. As you rightly pointed out, very good set of numbers coming in from Bharat Forge, and the stock is up about 3.5%. The Q2 revenue growth was 21% year-on-year, coming in at a little over 2,249 crores. The margins went up 270 basis points year-on-year, and the profits went up 29%. In fact, the margins increased 200 basis points even on a quarter-on-quarter basis. Such is the kind of strength that Bharat Forge has seen in its numbers. Now, the defense vertical is something that is picking up quite a bit for Bharat Forge. The company said that they're seeing new orders worth 1,100 crores in the defense space, and they now have 3,000 crores worth of executable defense order book over the next 24 months. Also, the commentary from the management was quite positive. They expect this momentum to continue in the second half of the year across verticals, and hence you're seeing the stock up and about today. Back to you.
All right, and also don't forget the management that will be available at 2:35 p.m. So that's coming up. Don't miss it. Interglobe Aviation, that is up in trade, reacting to a strong set of Q2 earnings, and the airline reported revenue growth of 19.6%, while the margins for the company improved to 16.4% from 1.8% in the corresponding quarter last year, that is YOY. Now, the airline also managed to increase its capacity by 27% in the second quarter and is eyeing another 25% increase in the capacity in the third quarter. Indigo's CEO Peter Elber spoke to CNBC on the company's second quarter numbers and also expansion plans going forward. Let's listen in.
I think one of the characteristics of the Indian market is that it's very late booking. So we're not making any sort of 24 months times of projections when it comes to precise capacity. What we have done is this capacity guidance for this year in the north of the mid-teens. We're actually very confident that we've made them. We welcome this first 6 months of this financial year, a little over 50 million customers. We gave a guidance to have 100 million customers by the end of this year. We're very confident that we're going to make it, and we're going to double the airline in size towards the end of the decade. So actually, we're basically continuing our long-term strategy in doubling the airline by the end of the decade, and yet take this whole range of mitigating measures to make sure that this double-digit capacity guidance north of mid-teens will be maintained. And so far, I think we've been demonstrating for the last 4 quarters that we're very capable in doing so.
All right, 100 million customers by the end of the year and looking to double their fleet capacity as well. That is the word coming in from Interglobe. The stock is well in the green right now, around 1.5% higher as well. With that, we do need to take a short break, but on the other side, we're going to bring you the latest on the worsening pollution situation in Delhi. Stay tuned. All of the details coming up for you after this short break.
Welcome back to Business Lunch, and let's get you a corporate view coming in from a global bank on India. This is India's decade, says Bank of America's Kaku Nakhate. She is bullish on the Indian story and also expects digital economy to be a big contributor to our growth. Adds that higher government capex will further aid the economy. Listen in.
Digital economy really constitutes around 8% of the GDP. But we are very confident that by 2030, to your point, that in digital economy will contribute close to around 20% of the economy. So there is a structural shift that we are saying. However, I really personally believe that India is on a multi-decadal, multifaceted growth path. And the levers that are really driving in, one is the government investment in public infrastructure. And if you really see, the capex from private side has only started following the government. Government is spending almost 2/3 of money into the infrastructure. And the capex has already moved up just last year, 8%, taking the private capex to around, close to around 59%. The government's intention, which is very spelled out in the last 3 years on sustainability, and India moving to around sustainability by 2070, the net zero targets. And what we are going to achieve just in 2030 is really going to throw up a lot more bigger opportunities. And the final leg, I would say, is geopolitically. We are so well placed, though there is tension in the world. India has become a beacon of resilience and actually promise, if I may say. And the supply chains, which we are yet to develop, and we are on the path with Make in India, the PLI schemes, I think that's going to be adding a lot more manufacturing capacity, because India has stagnated on manufacturing at 18%. And now I think if you have to take it to 25%, this is going to be the.
All right, very interesting chat. And remember, you can catch the entire conversation with Kaku Nakate on Closing Bell today. So stay tuned for that. But with that, let's move on and bring you some important national updates as well. Air quality in Delhi continues to remain very severe, with the AQI now at 436. The centre has implemented stage 4 measures of the GRAP, or Graded Action Response Plan, with immediate effect. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal also chaired a meeting on increasing pollution earlier today, and all construction and demolition activities have been banned in the city of Delhi. The state government has also announced a work-from-home policy for 50% of government officials, and primary schools are also shut up until the 10th of November. Secondary classes have the choice of shifting to the online mode for the time being, but extremely critical situation there.
All right, to another important news of the day. Well, Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, Pushkar Singh Dhami, is addressing the Mumbai roadshow ahead of the Uttarakhand Global Investor Summit 2023, scheduled to be held in Dehradun in December this year. Now, he has earlier also held summits in various other states as well as overseas in a bid to attract investments in the Himalayan state. The Chief Minister will likely hold meetings with various industry groups and invite them all to the summit to be held in Dehradun. All right, so that's the latest update coming in from the state of Uttarakhand. With that, completely out of time on this edition of Business Lunch, but Mid-Cap Radar comes up next. Stay tuned for that. Thanks so much.